What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik. I am the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and it is my pleasure to speak to Jonathan Adams. He is a heavy NFL writer, covers several teams with heavy. What's going on, John?
Man, just living the dream. Just a nice weekend of football, as I'm sure you just experienced. We got baseball playoffs heating up. We got the NBA coming back. So if you're a sports fan, this is I think October is one of the best months on the calendar, personally, just sports-wise. So
it is great.
Just can't complain. Great for us, at least.
Yeah, it's a great month for sports. This fall period, it's just something about fall that feels just so sporty.
Exactly. Yeah. The air's covered. The leaves are changing. Atlanta's a little bit slow to the process, but we're getting there. We're slowly getting there fall-wise.
Yes, sir. So I got to talk. Obviously, I know you touch on the Bucs quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about, it was a fairly big game on Sunday.
Yeah, a few people talking about it. I've heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I got some wind of it. But the Bucs and Patriots, that game was a lot closer, I think, than most people expected.
Right.
Who deserves the credit or the blame for how close that game was?
Well, if the weather could get some credit, I feel like that could be employee number one there. In terms of, I may or may not have taken the Bucs to cover a 6.5 spread, which was, in hindsight, not a great bet on my part. But I was expecting the kind of like a Brady typical, like go out there, step on the throat, especially with the way the Patriots has looked to start the season. But when I turn on the TV and I see that rain going, I was like, oh, this is like just Bill Belichick called up a favor to the big guy and kind of got a little help on his side. It was like, I mean, that's just a classic. It felt like a Patriots playoff game that I'm used to watching down here in the South, in January, where it just looks like miserable, and like Belichick has that miserable look with the hoodie, and Brady's looking at his linemen, cursing them out, MF and everyone he can. So it just felt like one of those typical hard-nosed January games, and I think you got to give the Patriots the credit in last night, because I felt like, although I will say the way Chris Collinsworth was talking about Mac Jones, you would have thought it was like Joe Montana was out there. I don't know if Mac Jones has a Venmo situation with Collinsworth or what's going on there, but I was like, man, I thought he looked okay. But I was like, am I watching the same? I mean, that was an ugly game, honestly. They were talking about the game as if it was it was a close game, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily an entertaining game until the end of that fourth quarter. But that's just my take. I don't know. Did you think it was entertaining, or obviously entertaining at the end, but
yeah, I thought it was a great game. I did, because for me, a great game can be defined in a lot of different ways, right? I remember once, is a long time ago, I would reveal my age if I told you the players that were involved. But I remember watching a game when I was a kid, and I'm gonna give it somewhat away when I give the name of the team. I was watching the Houston Oilers play the Bears, and the Oilers won the game. I believe it was 7-6.
Okay.
And it was a fantastic game because both teams had opportunities to score way more than 7 and 6 points. But it was so much drama. There were great players as Earl Campbell and Earl Campbell and Walter Payton are playing. So it was a fantastic game to me for that reason, just all of the things together. And I think last night, that's what we saw. We saw a game with all of these marquee names, all of these different storylines. The game was physical. It was hard fought. There were multiple scoring opportunities. There was ebb and flow. There were several lead changes. And it was drama, so I felt that every game for me doesn't have to be, 35-31 to be a great game, or even 24-21 to be a great game. So I thought it was a great contest overall.